Happy morning, children. Welcome to Blue Stars Higher Secondary School online classes. Today you have your 10th standard English for Unit 7. Okay, and we are going to see the prose part of Unit 7 today. Okay, the name of your prose is The Dying Detective. Okay, this is what we are going to see today. Okay, the first part 1, we are going to see today. Are you all ready with your book? Okay, so now we'll get into the lesson. So before that, let me give you some of the glossary part. See, gaunt. Okay, gaunt means lean. Okay, so especially because of suffering, hunger, or age. No, where if someone is not well or if they become too old, they become too lean. Okay, so instead of telling us lean, we can say it as gaunt. Okay, twitched. Twitched is give short. Okay, sudden jerking movement like a jerk movement is given. Okay, that is called as twitched. Contagious means which can easily spread. Understood? Spreading of a disease from one person to another by direct contact. Understood? So it can easily spread. That is contagious. Groan is make a deep inarticulate sound conveying pain or despair. So groan is whenever you feel sick. Okay, so we give some sounds, right? So out of pain. That is called as groan. Understood? Plague. Plague is a contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever. So plague is also a bacteria disease which is accompanied by a fever. Okay. Bolted means close the door with a bar that slides into a socket. Okay, we have no the slide windows and all like that. It is called as bolted. Mantelpiece. Mantelpiece means a structure of wood or marble above or around the fireplace. Okay, so normally you would have seen no in the foreign countries and all they'll be having this fireplace inside the house to make them warm, isn't it? So I mean around that you'll be having this mantelpiece. Mantelpiece is structure of wood or marble above or around the fireplace. Half crown is a former British coin equal to 2 shillings and 6 pence. Okay, it is a British coin. Understood? Tongs means a device used for picking up objects consisting of two long pieces free at one end and pressed together at the other end. Okay, tongs, you should have seen these tongs, no? Like usually mom used to make this puppets in the kitchen. My mom used this tongs to take the puppets in the kitchen. Okay, so this one tongs. Delirious means disturbed state of mind characterized by restlessness. Okay, or very disturbed state of mind. That is delirious. Frail means weak and delicate. Okay, very weak. Startled is felt sudden shock or alarm. Understood? So very shocked. That is startled. Scuffle is to have a sudden short fight. Understood? So scuffle means sudden short fight. So let me give you the characters in this lesson. Okay, what is the lesson? The dying detective. Okay, the adventure of the dying detective has only three major characters. So what are the three major characters we have? Sherlock Holmes. Okay, this is the main character. Then Dr. Watson and Culverton Smith. He is the villain. Okay, so he is the detective. Sherlock Holmes is the detective. Dr. Watson and Culverton Smith. These are the three main characters in this lesson. These three play significant roles in advancing the plot and getting us to the conclusion of the story. And there are also three minor characters. Okay, so who are the minor characters? These are Mrs. Hudson, Mr. Smith's butler, and Inspector Morton. Okay, so these are the three minor characters, okay, which do not play much role, okay, in this lesson. So now let's get into the lesson. The dying detective. You know what is a detective, right? The one who finds out the puzzles. Okay. So if I mean, especially in some cases, they use this. They call this detectives to solve the puzzle, isn't it? To find out who is the real culprit and all. So they are called as the detective. Okay. So see here, the detective Sherlock Holmes was seriously ill. He wanted to meet his assistant, Watson. He asks his landlady to get him. Watson was surprised to see the condition of his master. Was Watson able to save his master? Read on to know more about the underlying story behind Holmes' sickness. So, what is this? This lesson. It's a big story. Actually, it's like a novel. Actually, we have given only a part of that. Understood? So in this, Sherlock Holmes, he is a detective and he is very ill. He is very sick. So now he wants Dr. Watson to come and meet him. Understood? And Watson is very much surprised to see, Sherlock Holmes in this condition. And what happens? So how Watson save Sherlock is the story. Understood? See here. Mrs. Hudson, the landlady of Sherlock Holmes, came to me and said, Mr. Holmes is dying, Mr. Watson. For 3 days he has been sinking, and I doubt if he will last another day. He would not let me a doctor. I told him I could not stand it any more and would get a doctor. He replied, Let it be Watson then. Okay, so what is happening now? This Sherlock Holmes, he is a detective and he is very sick. And now Mrs. Hudson is the landlady of Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so she is the owner of this house, and this lady is telling, I cannot see you like this, so I want you to go to the doctor, isn't it? So now, once he says this, the Sherlock Holmes is telling, if you want me to go to a doctor, let it be Mr. Watson. So please bring Mr. Watson here. Okay. So now, this landlady, Mrs. Hudson, she is going to Mr. Watson's house, and she is telling what she is telling. She is telling that Mr. Holmes is dying. He is very sick. Okay. And he is day by day, his health is deteriorating, okay, becoming very less. And he seems so in a poor health condition, so I doubt he could survive even one more day also. Okay, and he is also not letting me to take to the doctor. Okay, so when I told, this lady is telling, when I told Sherlock to visit a doctor, Sherlock Holmes suggests your name only. Understood? So this lady is telling to whom? Yes, to Dr. Watson. Okay, Mrs. Hudson is speaking to Dr. Watson about Sherlock Holmes' condition, health condition. Okay, I was horrified, for I had not heard about his illness before. I rushed for my hat and coat. As we drove back, I asked about her details. So, what is this? So, when Mrs. Hudson says about the illness of Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson was very much shocked because he was not heard about his illness before. So immediately he is rushing for the hat and coat. And then as we drove back, I asked about the details. So this man is driving to Sherlock Holmes along with Mrs. Hudson, and on the way he is inquiring about the health condition of this person. There is little I can tell you, sir. He has been working on a case down at Rotherhithe near the river, and has brought this illness back with him. So, what is she telling? This Mrs. Hudson is telling, I am not sure about it, sir, because I don't know many what exactly happens, but all I can say is he has been working. Okay, since he is a detective, he was just investigating a case where at Rotherhithe near the river. Okay, this is the name of a place, so near the river. And when he is coming back, he has brought this illness with him. So he was found very sick after he finished investigating with the case near this Rotherhithe, near the river. Understood? He took to bed on Wednesday afternoon and has never moved since. For 3 days, neither food nor drink has passed his lips. Why did you not call a doctor? I asked. So now, and what the lady is telling, where from where he got the disease? Yeah, when he went for an investigation to Rotherhithe near the river, isn't it? And the lady is telling, after coming back from the place on Wednesday afternoon, he went to bed, and after that he has not get up at all. Okay, he has not moved after he came back on Wednesday. And for 3 days, he did not have any food or any drink, also. Okay, he did not take anything. And when Mrs. Hudson is saying this, Dr. Watson is asking, why don't you call a doctor? Okay, he wouldn't have it, sir. I didn't dare to disobey him. So what is it? What is she telling? She is telling that no, sir, he did not like to get a doctor, and I cannot disobey him. So that is why I didn't get a doctor. He was indeed a sad sight. In the dim light of a foggy November day, the sick room was a gloomy spot, but it was the gaunt face staring from the bed that brought chill to my heart. So what is this? See here just imagine all the Dr. Watson has came to see Sherlock Holmes, the detective Sherlock Holmes, who is very much sick, isn't it? So it is a foggy November day. Normally November month and all there will be a lot of fogs, right? Like yes, so it is a foggy November day, and he is coming and seeing it is a dim light. The room is having very dim light, and the already it is foggy, so it is so dark, and it was a very dark and sick room. And in that room, this gaunt face. What is gaunt face? Which has been very lean out of yeah sick, okay, because of the sick condition becoming so lean, isn't it? Gaunt means, so it was the gaunt face staring from the bed that brought chill to my heart, which means he was very much I mean the condition of the Sherlock Holmes seems so poor, okay. And he was very much worried. Dr. Watson was very much worried to see Sherlock Holmes in such a condition. His eyes had the brightness of the fever, his cheeks were flushed, and his hand twitched all the time. He lay listless. Understood? So all the symptoms of this fever has been there. Okay, his eyes was very dull, and all the cheeks were very, well, I mean, so much sad. The pity on seeing Sherlock Holmes, one could say that he has been sick for so long. Such a condition he is in. My dear fellow, I cried, approaching him. Stand back, stand right back, he cried. So, what is this? Immediately on seeing his condition, I started to go near him. Okay, I was telling my dear fellow what I just say, and I approached him. Dr. Watson is telling. Immediately, what Sherlock says, see, stand back. Stand right back, he cried. So don't come here, you have to stay there itself. Then Watson is asking, but why? I want to help you, I said. Certainly, Watson, but it is for your own sake. For my sake, I was surprised. So now Dr. Watson has come there to check Sherlock Holmes and to treat him, isn't it? Since he was, I mean, not feeling well, he was very ill. Dr. Watson has come all the way to treat Sherlock Holmes. But what he is telling, don't come near me. You have to stay back from me. Okay, don't come near me. And then Watson is asking, why should not I come near to you? And Sherlock Holmes is telling, I'm telling only for your good only. Okay, so for your sake only I'm telling, for your goodness only I'm telling, don't come near me. Sherlock Holmes is telling to Watson, for my sake. Okay, so he is very surprised. Being a doctor, it is his duty to check the sick people. But when he says this, don't come near me, he was very much surprised. Understood? See, I know what is the matter with me. It is a disease from Sumatra. It is deadly and contagious. So, Watson, that's it, by touch. So, now what is he telling? Now, this Sherlock Holmes is telling to Watson, he says to stop, right? Don't come near me. Why he is telling this? Because, and Sherlock Holmes is telling that I know about my health condition. Okay, I have been affected by a contagious and deadly disease. So, what is this disease? It is a disease from Sumatra, and that can be spread even if you touch the person who is affected with the disease. That is why I'm asking you to stay back from me. Sherlock Holmes is telling to Watson. And Watson, good heavens, Holmes, do you think this can stop me? I said, advancing towards him. So, what is happening? When Sherlock Holmes says that he has been affected with a deadly disease from Sumatra, Dr. Watson was not listening to it. Okay, and then he's telling, do you think if you say like this, I will not come near you, but I will come? Okay, so saying that, Watson is moving towards Sherlock Holmes. And now Sherlock Holmes says, if you will stand there, I will talk. If you don't, you must leave the room, said my master. So what is he telling? What is Holmes telling? He says, if you stand there, I will talk to you. Okay, if you are coming near me, better go out of the room. Okay, so say Sherlock Holmes to Watson. I have always given in to Holmes' wishes, but now my feelings as a doctor were aroused. I was at least his master in the sick room. Understood? So what he's telling? Normally, he always Dr. Watson always obeys Sherlock Holmes' words. Understood? But now, being a doctor, he's a doctor, right? So he don't know what to do, whether he has to obey Sherlock Holmes or he has to do his work as a doctor. Okay, Holmes, I said, you're not yourself, whether you like it or not. I will examine your symptoms and treat you. So now, finally, what he decided, what Dr. Watson decided, whether you like it or not, I will come near you and I will examine you. Okay, and I want to check what are the symptoms you have, what is the treatment needed, everything I need to check. Okay, I don't worry whether you like it or not. So, Dr. Watson is telling to Sherlock Holmes, if I am to have a doctor, said he, let me at least have someone in whom I have confidence. Okay, so now what Sherlock Holmes is telling, okay, in case if I need a doctor, I want someone who I have confidence. Okay, only then I can call that person. I don't trust you. So you don't come near me. Sherlock Holmes is stopping Dr. Watson from coming near him, isn't it? So he is telling all the things to stop Dr. Watson. Then you have none in me. So what Dr. Watson is asking, he's asking, that means you don't have confidence in me. See, in your friendship, certainly, but facts are facts, Watson. You are a general practitioner, not a specialist of this disease. Okay, so what is he telling? He's telling Dr. Watson, you are a doctor. I agree that you are my friend. That also I agree. But you are not a specialist to treat this disease. You are a general practitioner. What is the meaning of this general practitioner? Which means who has a general MBBS degree. Okay, is a general practitioner and is not having any specialities. Okay, no, like each doctors will be doing their own specialities, and one will be like ophthalmologist and dermatologist, cardiologist, like that. No, they'll be specialized in some areas. So and Sherlock Holmes is addressing Dr. Watson as a general practitioner. If so, Let me bring Sir Japer Meek or Penrose Fisher or any other best man in London. So, what is he telling now? Immediately, Dr. Watson is telling, okay, you want some specialist, right? So, let me bring what is the specialist names there? Sir Japer Meek or Penrose Fisher. So, or any other best man in London. If you don't want me to treat you, let me bring some specialist. How ignorant you are, Watson, he said with a groan. Okay, so Sherlock Holmes is telling, see, you are not at all understanding what I am trying to say. You are so ignorant. What do you know about tarponley fever or the black Formosa plague? So he is just telling, like whatever name is coming in his mouth, he is just saying, Sherlock Holmes is telling, do you know this tarponley fever or Formosa plague? Anything do you know? And I never heard of them, I admitted. Okay, so immediately Dr. Watson says, no, I have not even heard these names. It's very new to me. There are many problems of the disease in the East. I have learned that much during my recent researches. And during this course, I caught this illness, he said. So what is he telling? Yeah, in the east side of the country, this type of diseases are more in number. Okay, I learned about it when I was doing research about it. And during this time of research, I was affected by this disease only. Why he is telling? He is stopping Watson to come and check him up. Okay, I will bring Dr. Ainstree then. I said, going towards the door. Never have I had such a shock when the dying man bolted the door and locked it, shouted in an uncontrolled way, and in a moment he was back in his bed. See here. So, what happens when he's just telling some unknown disease names and asking whether Dr. Watson knows about this name, isn't it? So, and Dr. Watson is telling, no, I don't know anything about these diseases. So, when Dr. Watson say this, and Sherlock Holmes says that I caught this disease when I was in a research in East Side, isn't it? So immediately Dr. Watson says, okay, then I don't know anything about this disease, but Dr. Ainstree can help in this. So he's just moving towards the door to bring Dr. Ainstree. But immediately, this Sherlock Holmes, who's very sick in his bed, is jumping and he's just shutting the door and is locking it and is just shouting in an uncontrolled way. Okay, after that he is going back to his bed. Just imagine, if a man is really sick, can he jump and shout like that? So why he is doing this, we will see in the coming story. See, you won't have the key by force from me, Watson. Be here till 6 o'clock. It is 4 now. This is madness, Holmes, I said. So now what is he telling? I have locked the door and you cannot get the key from me. Okay, Sherlock Holmes is telling to Dr. Watson. Okay, you cannot get the key from me. Now it is 4 o'clock. You have to stay here till 6 o'clock, but you should not come near me. This is madness, Holmes, I said. So what is Watson telling? What you are doing is not correct. Okay, it is a madness thing. So only 2 hours, Watson. Then you can get a doctor of my choice. You can read some books over there. At 6, we will talk again. So what is happening? And this Sherlock Holmes is telling only 2 hours. Okay, you have to wait only 2 hours. So after 2 hours, you can get a doctor of your choice. Okay, and then till then, you can just read some books. At 6 o'clock, we will talk again. Unable to settle down to reading, I walked slowly round and round looking at the pictures. Finally, I came to the mantelpiece where, among other things, I saw a small black and white ivory box with a sliding lid. As I held it in my hand to examine it, I heard a dreadful cry. Put it down, down at once, Watson, he said. I hate to have my things touched. Sit down, man, and let me have my rest. So, what is this? Sherlock Holmes told Dr. Watson to to read the books until it is 6 o'clock. Okay, and he says to that he will talk only by 6 o'clock. Till then he has to, he told Dr. Watson to read some books. But Dr. Watson was not at all involved. Okay, he's not having that mood to read the book. So he's just walking slowly round and round the room and looking at the pictures in the room. And he is coming to a mantelpiece. Okay, what is a mantelpiece? It is a place around the fireplace, isn't it? Yes, so he is just seeing a ivory box, small white ivory box is seeing with a sliding lid. And now he is just, Dr. Watson is taking this ivory box in his hand to see what it is. Immediately he heard a very loud voice, okay, shouting at him. Whose voice is that? Sherlock Holmes' voice. He is telling, put it down. Okay, don't touch it. I don't like my things to be touched by anybody. So please sit down quietly. I want to take rest. Okay, Sherlock Holmes is shouting at Dr. Watson. Then I sat in silent dejection until the stipulated time had passed. So Dr. Watson was sitting, he is just listening to his words, and he's just sitting until it is 6 o'clock. Now, Watson, he said, have you any change? Yes, I replied. Now, Sherlock Holmes, after 6 o'clock, he's just telling, now, Watson, what about you? Is your mind changed? And then Watson is replying, yes. Understood? Yes. So he was asking, how have you any change? So this man is telling, yes, I have some changes in my pockets. How many half crowns? Half crowns is the coins used in the London. Okay. Put them in your watch pocket, all the rest in your trousers. Okay, so half crowns he Sherlock Holmes told Watson to put in the watch pocket, and all the rest of the money to be in the trouser pocket. You will light the gas lamp, but it must be half on. Understood? So what is he telling? He is telling Watson to light the gas, okay, and then it should be half on only. You will have the kindness to place some letters and papers on my table within my reach. Now, place the ivory box on the table within my reach. Okay. So what is he telling? He first of all, he just Sherlock Holmes told Dr. Watson to keep off half crowns in the watch pocket, and then remaining money in the trouser pockets. Okay. Then he told Dr. Watson to light the gas, and then with half on, not fully, half on. Then he asked Watson to place some letters and papers on the table within the reach. Okay, now, and he is also telling the ivory box. He was just checking and seeing an ivory box, no? Yeah, he just told to keep the ivory box also on the table within the reach. Okay, slide the lid with a bit with tongs. So what is he telling? He is also telling to open the lid of the ivory box with the tongs. So without touching with the hand, he is telling to open the lid of the ivory box with the tongs. Okay, put the tongs on the table. Good. Now you can go and fetch Mr. Culverton Smith of 13 Lower Burke Street. Okay, so what is he telling? He is just giving some instructions. All these things he is just asking Dr. Watson to do. And now after that, he is just telling, now you can go and bring. Whom he is asking to bring? Mr. Culverton Smith. Where is he living? 13 Lower Burke Street. I was hesitant to leave him now. He was delirious. But when he is asking to go and bring this man, Dr. Watson was feeling very bad to go because the condition of the Sherlock Holmes is very bad. That is why he cannot leave him all alone and go. So he's just thinking, I have never heard of the name I said. So what is he telling? I have not even heard this name, Mr. Culverton Smith. So I don't know who is he. Well, he is the man who has a knowledge of this disease, but he is not a medical man. He is a planter. He lives in Sumatra, now visiting London. He didn't want you to go before 6 because you wouldn't have found him in his study. I hope you'll be able to persuade him to come. You will tell him exactly how you have left me, he said. You must tell him that I am dying. Plead with him, Watson. So now, what is Sherlock Holmes telling to Watson? Yeah, so he is the man who knows about the disease because he says that he has been affected with the Sumerian disease, isn't it? So Sherlock Holmes is telling to Watson that this man, Culverton Smith, he has came from Sumatra, okay, and he has come to visit London. Though he is not a medical man, he is a planter only, but he is aware of this disease. And why I ask you to wait here till 6 o'clock means if you go and see him before, sorry, if you go and see him before 6 o'clock, he will not be there. You cannot see him. That is why I didn't want you to go there before 6 o'clock. Okay, now you go there, he will be in a study room, so you can just go and bring him. Tell him that I have been very ill, I have been so sick, okay, I am dying. Tell him this and just request him to come and meet. So Sherlock Holmes is telling this to Watson. Understood? And now let us see what Watson is replying for that, and whether he brought this Culverton Smith, and why Sherlock Holmes asked Watson to bring Culverton Smith. Everything we will see in the next class. Okay, so till this you have to read the lesson. Okay, I hope you all understand till this. Okay, so whatever pages are taught, read that lesson fully. Okay, read it. Okay, if 2 pages is taught, read the 2 pages. Learn the synonyms, antonyms, question answers, whatever is possible within that part. Okay, whatever is taught, no, within that, whatever question is there, learn it and write it. Learn it and write it in your classwork. Okay, thank you, children. Have a nice day.